everybody? Welcome back to another NotiQ Galaxy predictions panel. You know what this is, for I am the Simple Man, and my name is Noah Foster. Today, we are gathered here to discuss honor in the sport of professional wrestling. Damn it! But I digress. As we come to you to discuss the latest pay-per-view in the Ring of Honor reboot, Death Before Dishonor. And it is a stacked championship showcase with more matches to come. But I digress. Before we get into it, allow me, of course, to introduce the panel for the first time on a Ring of Honor predictions video. Christopher Rotz. Chris, how are you? And how are you feeling about what's ahead for Saturday night?
Hey guys, it's a pleasure to be on my
Pressure.
first Ring of Honor pay-per-view predictions video. I'm looking forward to this event on Saturday. It's gonna be a good event. And if I have to, no, I'm gonna say the match I'm definitely looking forward to on Saturday is FTR versus the Briscoes on Saturday.
Oh, fair enough. And with me, as always, he is a discusser, he is a proprietor, he is a fantasy booker in all things wrestling. He is indeed a mad scientist. I just call him a creative genius. The new normal, Jerry Dishonor this time. Jerry, how are you? Are you ready for this Ring of Honor pay-per-view Saturday night?
I have not been this stoked for a pay-per-view since like the better takeovers that we had, or like before that brand went to shit. So
Right.
I am super excited. There's not one match on this card that I'm not looking forward to seeing because they each hold something special to them, and I can't wait to start discussing them. It's going to be great.
Absolutely. And folks, as always, your opinions matter too. Come join the Honorable Predictions League for Ring of Honor. It is the second event, of course, and the form will be live on my Twitter following this video. There's also a link in the description down below. And also stay tuned as it might be updated because according to what I heard on Media Call, courtesy of Sportskeeda, there will be more matches announced by Tony Khan. It wouldn't surprise me if it's on Rampage tomorrow night. But that being said, we got, it looks like 7 matches here. So let me go ahead and bring up this leaderboard real quick, as we do have Trios champions currently for Ring of Honor in me, my boy representing ATW, Anthony, and Charlene. Congratulations. Well done, youth. Well done, my friends. And Lex, for your first Ring of Honor show, again, you're exploring a new world. So I'm very curious how you do here, and shout out to those that were also involved in this, including but not limited to the Cleaver, Con Andrew, Kyle, Lex, Ashley, Jerry. You got 6, man. You did pretty darn well.
Yeah, I did.
And the holiday, Christopher Mace, again, happy belated birthday to you, among so many others. That being said, we've rambled on enough about our excitement, so let's get right into it. So we'll start off with a match that was just announced yesterday on AEW Dynamite Fighter Fest Week 2 for what they're calling the 0 Hour. It's basically your buy-in. As Vicky is out, let's get classy, but also let's boogie. As we have Allison Kay, a.k.a. Sienna, going one-on-one with Willow Nightingale. Willow Nightingale, of course, no stranger to the Women of Honor division, and neither is Allison Kay. They were both involved, of course, in the tournament to crown the champion. We also saw Willow Nightingale most recently on the last Ring of Honor pay-per-view. Yeah, pay-per-view. Remember that term, folks? Against Mercedes Martinez for the Ring of Honor interim Women's World Championship. And she came up short. But Willow Nightingale, she constantly is always on our screens. She impresses us with what she brings in the ring. She's been across AEW, Impact Wrestling. But honestly, for me, I think she's the foundation for this Ring of Honor women's division, especially if it's being matched by Maria Kanellis. But that's also a rumor and another talk for another day. But for me, I think Willow Nightingale is owned a win here. So I think that she is going to overcome former NWA Women's Tag Team Champion, Allison Kay. Jerry, your thoughts on this match?
My thoughts are pretty much in the same vein. The fact that like Willow's going to be built to be probably the new cornerstone for the Ring of Honor Wrestling Women's relaunch. So I think a victory for her here will automatically put her almost in contention for the Ring of Honor women's title. So I'm gonna go ahead and say Willow Nightingale picks up the win here. It won't be an easy victory at all, but it's gonna be a fantastic women's exhibition match, and I think it's gonna be great. But I think Willow's gonna pick up the win.
Chris, you know Will Nightingale a little bit if you watched, of course, AEW. For you may not know about Allison Kay, she's a former Knockouts World Champion. She's a former NWA Women's World Champion that held the belt, now held by Camille. And she's pretty mean when it comes to being in the ring. So, what's your thoughts regarding these two athletes, and who do you see winning this match?
Well, it's going to be a good match between these two on the 0 hour. I'm agreeing with you guys on Willow Nightingale is going to pick up the win. And personally, I can't wait for Ring of Honor to have their weekly shows, and I can watch Ring of Honor someday.
Seriously, streaming. It is the wave of now and the future. Announce it for HBO Max or some sort of streaming service. That's all I got to say about that. And again, folks, you can catch the 0 hour on all social media platforms for Ring of Honor for free this Saturday. The only way to watch the Ring of Honor pay-per-view is buying it internationally on the Fight TV app. But here in the States, Bleacher Report, sorry, but it is what it is. That being said, let's go ahead into our main card, because literally this card right now is 6 straight championship matches. Good grief almighty. So why don't we go ahead and talk about this first match with 6 people, because the Ring of Honor World 6-Man Tag Team Championships are on the line, and they are back and alive as the current holding title holders, the Righteous, Vincent and his crew, including the man leading the Stray Dog Army and NJPW Strong. They take on former Ring of Honor World Champion Dalton Castle and the boys. Well, there's one thing we know about Dalton Castle. He's going to be out there to break some hearts. The question is, will he be heartbroken? Or can he and his boys become the Ring of Honor 6-Man Tag Team Champions? And what does this mean for Ring of Honor Trios Division? Sounds like a reboot in a big way to me. But for me, I look at the boys. I'm like, okay, you're called the boys. What is your identity? What do you bring forward to the ring? Vincent, he is very psychological, and his Righteous group are very effective together. I think the Righteous are going to retain. All the way Dalton Castle, he might turn on his boys like he did a while back in Ring of Honor's earlier days. Especially the Ruse beat the crap out of him at G1 Supercard. I think the champs are going to retain. Chris, your thoughts on this match and these titles? Do you see new champions, considering you know how flamboyant Dalton Castle can be, or do you see the Righteous retaining?
I see the Righteous retaining here, and with the Trios Championships, they're good. I can't wait for the Trios Championships to go to AEW.
Oh, Lord. Crossover. All right, that might actually be an interpromotional thing for all we know, because, again, too many titles could be a thing. But we'll see. Jerry, we've seen these titles held before by Roos and Ezekiel Bonalde's crew. We've seen them held before by Villain Enterprises. Whoop, whoop. These titles have been kind of a stay in Ring of Honor for a good period of time, and I feel like they definitely can use something with them nowadays, figuring out how Tony Khan showcases tag team wrestling in trios fashion. But what's your thoughts regarding this? Do you see the Righteous coming into this new Ring of Honor, still the champs, and leaving with it?
What really throws me off at this point is the fact that Vincent's in Honor No More.
Right.
So he's in a completely anti-Ring of Honor group, but it's still in Ring of Honor. It's just really weird. My initial pick would be the Righteous, but at the same time, I'm iffy because of that whole Honor No More thing. Maybe this could be Vincent's last stand in like a Ring of Honor, and this could be just him being brought in to drop the belts so they can have the boy somebody else win it. Kind of like how they took the belts off Toxic Attraction in NXT just so they could give them to somebody else, just so they could get rid of dump the titles.
Not
it makes
NXT,
sense,
but yeah.
Yeah, but it kind of makes sense to me. The fact that they wanted to get the belts off a group that's really no longer together in Ring of Honor, and put them on somebody that actually are, even if it is just Dalton Castle and the boys. It'd be an awesome upset. So you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say Dalton Castle and the boys actually win it by hook or by crook.
Well, I mean, Dalton Castle, he definitely is a guy that we've seen lately will do what it takes to win.
And what better way for the boys to actually gain names to actually put belts on them?
Oh, good grief almighty.
So I know it's probably going to cost me a point, but it kind of makes sense at we're going to say financial and employment standpoint here. If Vincent's not actually in Ring of Honor and Dalton Castle and the boys are, it kind of makes sense to put the belts on them.
Well, considering we're looking at the Vincent PCO connection in Impact Wrestling as well, and also, like I said, Vincent's righteous running mate is also involved in NJPW Strong, running his own crew there, the Stray Dog
Yeah.
Army.
It
It
seems like
does sound a bit more logical now that you mentioned it.
and like now Chris mentioned this as well. The idea of the trios belt in AEW. What if AEW does invade? And what if one of the trios made like the Black Army, or like the House of Black? The House of Black take the belts off the boys and take him to AEW. We don't know.
True, but I honestly think that House of Black versus the Righteous would be more interesting from a narrative standpoint, considering how Vincent's delivery
I just
is.
want to see the boys get their heads kicked off by Alistair by Malachi Black.
You masochist! Well, either way, this is going to be interesting as we see who leads up with the towels. So 2-1. And honestly, at this point, I don't really see anything that's changing my mind. But we'll see, as the Righteous does seem to be more of a united front. Okay, now let's go ahead and get serious. Like, really serious. Because who is more pure? A sports entertainer or a professional wrestler? As Wheeler Yuta defends the Ring of Honor Pure Championship against Daniel Garcia, and boy, the roads these two have been on together and separately, and the tense sit-down we saw on the countdown. Now, normally I'm one that usually likes to lead these type of things, but Jerry, again, this is the title that stands out among the industry that defines Ring of Honor since 2004, and that's all I'm going to say as I let you take it away. Your thoughts, who wins, and what do you expect?
I expect an awesome match. I think, like, usually these matches, I won't say drag on, but and they do on occasion. They're not really your standard fare that you have anymore, but it's a lot more traditional. And I like traditional wrestling. I love traditional wrestling. Don't give me a British rounds match because I'll go right to sleep, but give me a pure wrestling match any day and I'll enjoy it.
That's a whole different animal, and I actually do agree with
it really is, because it can still be fast paced and still be very technical. And you have the Red Death versus Wheeler Yuta, which is just chef kiss. It's going to be a great match. I see Wheeler Yuta actually pulled off the victory in this one, more or less because Daniel Garcia, I can see being really respectful in the match. I can actually see 2.0 even being there, maybe him just telling them to go back into the back, because if they interfere by rules, they would actually get banned from Ring of Honor.
Correct. So, you literally would be fired.
Yeah. So, and that, like, people are like, well, they'll still have a job at AEW. It's like Tony Khan owns both these companies now. So chances are, if they get fired from Ring of Honor, there's a good chance you get fired from AEW at the same time. It's all about the honor system, and with Tony, I think he'll honor the honor system. So I see Wheeler Yuta actually picking up the victory, and Daniel Garcia actually shaking his hand at the end of the match to show respect. And that could actually cause a little bit of friction with him and the Jericho Appreciation Society as well. So that could continue that storyline in AEW, but then you'll have Wheeler Yuta still winning matches here in Ring of Honor.
Very well said. As again, this match, Chris, takes a very methodical approach. For those that don't know the rules of a pure rules match, each wrestler has 3 rope breaks to stop submission holds and pinfalls. After a wrestler exhausts those rope breaks, submission and pin attempts count inside the ropes, or under the ropes for that matter too. They are 100% legal. There are no closed fist punches to the face permitted. The first one gives you a warning. The second one gives you disqualification. There is only open-handed slaps and chops to the face that are permitted. And punches to the rest of the body are also allowed, excluding low blows. That still is a rule that doesn't change. And again, if you use the closed fist twice, you are disqualified. The title can change hands on disqualification or a count out. And basically, these matches, they really don't have any time limit. So it comes down to strategy. It comes down to wearing down your opponent and honestly grounding them, or just taking them for 3 seconds. We've seen how quick Jonathan Gresham, who was the most prolific Ring of Honor Pro Champion most recently, was able to overcome anybody with something as simple as a Mahi Straw Cradle. We've seen the growth and development of Wheeler Yuta, though, being part of the Blackpool Combat Society, adding both physical and technical offense to his repertoire recently on his matches, particularly on AEW Dark. he and Daniel Garcia are no strangers to each other. They once went to a 60-minute draw over an independent wrestling championship in a warehouse hotter than what the G1 Climax is right now. So this is definitely going to be a standout match, to say the least. But again, you look at Daniel Garcia. Does he have that same drive, that same hunger to be the best pure wrestler? Or now is he just about being a sports entertainer? As we look at the dynamic, can a sports entertainer beat a professional wrestler? And it really looked like that Wheeler Yuta struck a nerve with Daniel Garcia during the sit-down with Caprice Coleman on the countdown, particularly when it came to that car accident, which really changed Daniel Garcia's outlook, I think, for the rest of his life. And they said they're not cut from the same cloth. Bryan Danielson did mention Daniel Garcia by name, but look who's in the Blackpool Combat Club versus the Jericho Appreciation Society. Look who's a champion. So there's a lot here to be proven by both. And whether or not we get Code of Honor before and after the match, respect definitely will be garnered, I think, by the end of this affair. But I also agree with you, Jerry. I think right now Wheeler Yuta is going to retain because there's something in Yuta right now that I've seen more in him than I have in Daniel Garcia when it comes to what this title defines. And I think that's what's going to separate the champion versus the one that gets defeated.
I get this feeling that he's going to be this generation's answer to Ricky Steamboat. He really is.
Possibly.
And also, Noah, even though it doesn't really matter too much, there's a 20 count for outside the ring.
True,
versus the usual 10 count. That's another rule.
We've seen in NJPW that even on a 20 count, someone can win.
Yeah,
darn it!
I'm saying that's another rule for the pure title. So
versus standard. Again, it's a throwback. You said it's traditional. It's wrestling that breathes. It's not a spot monkey fest. It's not defined by a finisher. It is literally about how you counter. All right, Chris. Now we've kind of broke down what this match is. We talked to you about what these two participants are. You've seen one Ring of Honor Pure Championship match, to my knowledge, back at the Supercard. So now you're on point. Who you got in this Pure Championship affair?
Well, it's going to be a good, solid match between Wheeler Yuta.
Who you got in this? Who's echoing me? Oh, okay.
Oh.
And stay tuned, folks, as we will have another guest joining us here shortly who will also add thoughts to this match. You're lucky we haven't talked about it a lot, James. Chris, continue your thoughts as I bring James Hebert into the forum.
This is going to be a good match between Wheeler Yuta and Daniel Garcia. I like them both in AEW. They're good talent. They're good wrestlers. You have a sports entertainer against a professional wrestler.
Damn it.
And personally, I'm going to go off with a limb, and I am going to say this. I am going for the professional wrestler over the sports entertainer. I'm going for Wheeler Yuta to retain his championship belt this coming Saturday.
All righty. Well, I loved everybody's input when it came to the perspective of this form of wrestling versus what you might deem you think should be entertaining. Wrestling does not need to be necessarily entertaining. Wrestling should be competitive at the forefront. There's nothing more uniquely competitive in Ring of Honor than a pure championship match. So with that being said, we're in for something very unique. And the thing about this Ring of Honor match, this one in particular, I could see it going either way if Daniel Garcia pulls out what he has been. Again, this is the guy that's been involved in Terminus, a new platform defined by grapple wrestling. And that's really what this comes down to.
Pretty sure he's also the current Pro Wrestling Guerrilla champion.
I'm about to say. But let's go ahead and get this man's thoughts real quick. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the forum, the extremely creative and vocal. He's different. He's a good guy. He's creative. FTW Productions CEO, I think. James Hebert. James, welcome to the Ring of Honor Predictions Platform Forum. We are talking about the Pure Championship, and so far we're all unanimous with Wheeler Yuta. As you introduce yourself, please give us your thoughts towards this championship and this match.
Thank you very much. Obviously, I'll just start it off by promoting, I guess. Noah and I will be doing the call on Jeff Meacham Network for Death Before Dishonor. So if you want to go watch that, check that out. That said, I'm going to go opposite. I'm going to go Daniel. I'm going to go Daniel Garcia here, but that's just because I'm being different. I could totally see them keeping the belt on him only due to the fact they want to have Blackpool Combat Club win all the gold. So I don't know. Actually,
Could be a mission
damn.
statement.
Actually, no. Now I'm rethinking before.
He's fickle. I knew it.
I am
That's why love
fickle
about
on this.
professional wrestling.
I'm happy either way. You know what? I'll go with Yuta just because I want to see because that bodes well for Cesaro. How about that? Or Claudio in this case.
God.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, no, I guess that was a sports team.
That's his dead slave name.
Ouch. But you're not wrong. All right. Well, good stuff. We also talked about Allison Kay and Willow Nightingale and the six-man tag team championships. Any quick thoughts towards either of those matches you think will be a foundation of this Ring of Honor Women's division? And do you see the Righteous still holding the six-man gold?
Yeah. See, the Righteous is interesting because the Righteous, I knew they were a team, but it's weird that he's a team there, but he's also a part of Honor No More.
As Jerry alluded to, you are correct.
So that's a conflict of interest. If he's Honor No More, why is he competing in Ring of Honor? So just off that fact alone, I'll go with them boys, and not to be confused with the Briscoes.
Wrong.
Not
Them boys.
I'm
They
sorry.
are not them boys. Them boys would eat these boys.
So it's them boys, not them.
Them versus
Them boys. No.
Okay.
And,
And as far as
and
Willow
Dalton,
versus Allison Kay.
That was a kick right in the peacock.
Willow Nightingale versus who again?
Allison Kay.
Allison Kay. You know where I'm going with this because you know how I feel about Allison Kay, and we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, go ahead and go find out what he means by that, folks, when you watch that. All right. Well, James, since you came onto the platform, I'm going to start with you with this match because when it comes to you, good sir, you are outspoken. You are emotional. You put everything out there that's on your mind and try to be the best you can in what you choose to do. I think Lethal is going to finally try and prove something to his teacher, too, in that same sort of metaphor. As the Ring of Honor Television Championship is on the line, they finally come ahead. Teacher versus student. Samoa Joe defends the gold against what's honestly been called the franchise of Ring of Honor, Jay Lethal. Again, we watched the countdown, James. We know what these two are capable of. We know their history. So with that being said, take it away. You're first. Do we get a new champion?
It's hard to judge this one because I could totally see Jay Lethal winning somehow. But at the same time, I feel like it's too early, and they just switched the title from Minoru Suzuki to Joe, not even a few months ago?
Correct.
So I'm going to just stick with my gut pick there, and that's Joe. And yeah, exactly. That's you already know, King. You already know.
Believe that. All right. So you're saying that Joe is going to kill Lethal.
Yes.
Jerry, you saw the pour out of emotion, Ric Flair levels of hysteria that Jay Lethal gave on that countdown, saying he is out to get redemption for the emotional scarring that Samoa Joe cost him. I mean, you literally talked about the beginning when he won the Ring of Honor per champion. Who was the guy that took him off him? It was Samoa Joe. Ever since then, it felt like that Lethal has always been in Joe's shadow. We've seen him rise to prominence as Ring of Honor World Champion, at one point holding both titles at the same time, but Samoa Joe believes he does not have that killer instinct that can put him above what Samoa Joe is capable of. So with that being said, does Lethal have what it takes here to beat Samoa Joe for this title?
If you've noticed the same thing I've noticed, especially during those interviews, Samoa Joe is staying very, very calm. It's usually when he gets starts screaming and gets outlandish and whatnot is when he becomes less focused, and that's when he loses matches. I think he's letting Jay Lethal pretty much work himself up into a frenzy at this point, and he's going to capitalize on his emotions, and he's going to win the match. Even with possible interference by Sanjay Dutt and that really gigantic dude whose name escapes me. Yes. Yeah, whatever.
Yes, Saddam Singh, who, by the way, I'm looking forward to.
I figured you were going to say that.
Probably the worst AEW debut so far. It was horrible. But
yeah, the debut wasn't great, but what he does, it's pretty impressive. But continue.
But yeah, I'm seeing Samoa Joe pretty much pick up the win on Lethal, who's going to get progressively frustrated throughout the match. So, yeah, I see Samoa Joe holding the belt for just a little while longer.
There comes that setup in a championship match. Who's coming in as the underdog? Is it the challenger or is it the champion? Who is more focused, more composed? Who is more driven? Emotions can cause somebody to do crazy things. You think about the name of this pay-per-view, Chris. Death Before Dishonor. When I think about Jay Lethal, he's literally going to try and do everything possible to get the better of Samoa Joe, by hook or by crook. It feels like for me that this is Jay Lethal's last chance to overcome what more so is more important here. Not getting this title, but beating his teacher. So, Chris, do you think Jay Lethal can get it done?
Well, this match is going to be good. And James Huber, welcome to the No DQ Galaxy panel. Welcome aboard.
We talk all Fates Wrestling.
It's always good to see you. We were just on together, me and you, for Forbidden Door.
Yes, we were.
That was an amazing.
Anyway,
that was an amazing show.
It was.
In this match, it's going to be good. And what the crowd chant a lot is Joe's gonna kill you. Well, Samoa Joe's gonna kill Jay Lethal, and Samoa Joe's gonna retain his championship. I'm going for Samoa Joe.
It's one of those things, though, when you think about Lethal and his connection to this championship, though, he is the longest reigning Ring of Honor television champion in this company's history. And you think about where Jay Lethal and Samoa Joe are having this match, this is not very far off from really where history began with these two. Mm-hmm. I think about Samoa Joe, and right now he's not out here to put anybody over or anything over. Like you said, James, it's a completely new composed Samoa Joe. He is focused on, again, claiming everything. This is his first prize. I just don't think right now, and honestly, this might literally be his first defense of the title if I think about it. I just don't think he can lose it right now. Not even Saturday night. What it comes down to me, though, is what happens afterwards. Like, how does Lethal lose his sanity? Does he still attack his mentor? Does he still get some sort of emotional revenge versus the honorable redemption? Is there even going to be like a code of honor following this match? But for me, I think about Jay Lethal and this crew and what they set their sights to. This could go either way, but I feel Samoa Joe right now just makes more sense holding this banner particularly, especially if it means he's going to be on TV with it, AEW or ROH. So I think Samoa Joe is going to retain too. But again, the thing about this pay-per-view, every one of these championship matches I could see going either way, and that's insane.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the beauty of it.
Well, that's professional wrestling. Damn
it. The thing is that they could go either way, but either way, we won't be disappointed.
Exactly.
That's the important thing to think about. We see like stupid swerve type matches in like WWE, sometimes even in AEW. Like the matches seem like they have nonsensical finishes, whereas any of these matches we're discussing in Ring of Honor have all these possible scenarios that all just work.
Hey, listen, man, don't jinx it. They could bring back the tribal tattoo on his face. We don't want that on Joe. We don't want that.
TNA. All right. Good stuff. All right. Well,
the Violent Nation.
Yes. I remember that.
I took the killing literally. I got a machete. Why?
That was a weird time. Speaking of being in a weird time, let's go ahead and talk about what these two did to define themselves and women's professional wrestling. As Mercedes Martinez defends the Ring of Honor Women's World Championship against the professor of professional wrestling, Serena Deeb. Now, we could talk about these two all night. We could talk about our perspective on women's professional wrestling. Damn it! We could also talk about how these two started off in Ring of Honor when, honestly, there was no Ring of Honor women's division to begin with. They are literally the trailblazers. And these two have had chips on their shoulders the size of boulders, proving that they belong in this industry, but also how important women's professional wrestling is. I look at this match, I look at particularly Serena Deeb, though. When it comes to Serena Deeb, she has been tested for 18 years. We saw her drive towards Thunder Rose in the AEW Women's World Championship, but when you call yourself a professor of professional wrestling, I feel you define women's professional wrestling in Ring of Honor as this champion. This title being held by the likes of Mayu Itami, Kelly Klein, the Gatekeeper, countless others, you name it. For me, though, I feel that this is the one title. Why Serena doesn't know her legacy, I feel this will be the title that defines it. I think if any title changed hands on this show at all, this is my key pick. I'm actually going with Serena Deeb. But it will not be easy because we've seen Serena Deeb scout Mercedes Martinez. She wanted to see who can be more aggressive. So, with that being said, Jerry, I pose this to you. Do you think that Mercedes Martinez can be more aggressive, not just from a technical standpoint, but in this match in general against Serena Deeb? Who wants this more, do you believe? Who you got?
No. I've been watching Serena Deeb since she debuted in OVW. Literally, I was watching her in dark matches here in my city in Elizabethtown, Kentucky, watching her wrestle in a gym and honing her craft all the way up to her going into WWE as part of Straight Edge Society. I have been following Serena Deeb for a very long time, and each year, like every time I see her, she grows. She adds more submissions. She adds more holds. She's more focused. She's better on the microphone than she's ever been. She is just the quintessential women's athlete right now for professional wrestling, I believe. So, Mercedes Martinez, she's great. She's a veteran in her own right. She's been wrestling since 2000, and that's fantastic. But I don't think she's nearly as technically sound or as nearly as a great of a flag waver for this new Ring of Honor brand than Serena Deeb would be.
Yeah.
So like Mercedes, she easily go back to AEW. She could try do more stuff there, and that'll be fantastic. But Serena Deeb can make a home in Ring of Honor, and she can hold that belt for quite a while. So I'm gonna go with Serena Deeb picking up the victory, and that flag that should be carried around with her name on the back and everything. Well, Deeb Dojo, that's going to be replaced by just a Ring of Honor banner. She's going to be carrying that thing for quite a while.
I agree.
Okay, well, James, any further to add beyond that then?
Not really. I'm totally with Jerry. I think you can't get any better than Serena. Again, wouldn't complain if Mercedes won somehow.
Right.
No. You know this match is going to kick all kinds of ass with all due respect.
Mm-hmm.
And bend bodies in ways that you didn't think a body could bend.
Yeah, I mean, I love all types of wrestling. I don't think that's a secret. Like, I'm usually when you want to talk about wrestling connoisseur, I would give me any type of match and I'll watch it. I'll watch any type. But my
at least one. At least
once I'm gonna watch it.
Strong Style, Kings Road,
Invisible Man versus Invisible Stand. We'll watch it all.
Yeah, we'll watch it all, man. That's
what
right.
I say. We are ATW. We watch all things wrestling.
Yeah, that's what that means.
To the ATW crew, including this guy that's talking about the Lucha Brothers. Even though they're not on the pay-per-view, respect your comment. Anyway,
hey, yo, what's up, B? That's a great name. What a great name.
Yeah, very simple.
But yeah, for me, it's like the thing I'm looking forward to in this match is technical wrestling. My favorite type of wrestling is always going to be when you can have a technical masterclass. When you can get, and I'm not even a fan of the Greco-Roman. I don't know what it is, but like when you are able to blend that style into regular pro, the pro wrestling we watch and just make it look and just make it look so great. It's freaking amazing. Like, it's so good to see.
Watch it almost like a hybrid type style, but it'd still be like super technical.
Exactly.
The thing is, it's more of a showcasing versus, a flashy, like a moment for a Kodak. You study what's happening here. You wonder how and why, and you're surprised to see how it comes to this point and how it could just change on the fly. That is technical wrestling. Zack Sabre Jr., for me, for example, one of the most proficient technical wrestlers on the planet. Let's just put it out there. He changes a submission that almost seems like every 6 seconds, like a mental clock in his head that he was taught, basically. Not by Taka Michinoku only either. So I definitely agree.
totally off topic since you mentioned Zack Sabre Jr. If nobody has gone out of their way to see his match in progress with Kurt Angle, you owe it to yourself to watch that. That is a masterclass. It's unbelievable. That single-handedly is the reason why Zack Sabre Jr. went into the Cruiserweight Classic the year after that. So if you want to see something, watch that. I'm telling you.
Chris, when it comes to a championship match, we usually look at the picture of one person being put over by the other. But these are two long-term great veterans and trailblazers. This is about who will define women in Ring of Honor. Carry that banner, as James and Jerry subtly alluded to. So with that being said, who do you have here? Mercedes Martinez or Serena Deeb? Because one of these two is going to have to literally force the other to submit, in my opinion. This is not going to be as simple as a pinfall win. I see somebody tapping out or giving out.
Well, this is going to be a good match between these two.
It's going to be a great match. Don't be condescending.
Yeah, it's going to be a great match.
It's a retrospective, guys. Don't look at the vernacular.
But Mercedes Martinez, she had 4 successful defenses of her title, all of which has been on AEW Dark or Dark Elevation.
Trish Adora was one of my favorites. That was an impressive match.
That was a really good match.
But overall, it's going to be a great match between Mercedes Martinez and Serena Deebs. Serena Deebs, she has not lost a match since Double or Nothing to Thunder Rosa.
Correct.
She has not lost a match, and that is like impressive, because if you haven't lost a match, that tells me either way you're getting pushed or they're pushing you to be the top, and you're going to eventually get a championship opportunity.
You're pushing yourself to prove why you are the absolute best. With Serena Deeb, every match she brings something different to the table, it seems.
And I agree with you, Noah. And I truly believe in my predictions, I haven't predicted a title change whatsoever. I'm going to say this. This is the championship match that is going to have a title change. I'm going for Serena Deebs to become the new ROH Women's Championship.
Right. And we know how much pride Mercedes Martinez has in this title, too. Again, you heard it on the countdown. She has been going after this forever. And honestly, her and Deeb have been going at this forever. Before, again, there was even a division. They had to set the benchmark. So you know there's a lot more on the line here than just the title. And these two already define themselves in the industry, but someone's out to start, I feel, a new further legacy. We don't know necessarily how these two are going to leave the game, but we'll see who leads it as Ring of Honor Women's World Champion come Saturday night. Again, it could be literally flash pin roll up, but something tells me with the way that these two go about themselves and what they hold themselves to, I see somebody literally passing out. This is going to go the distance for sure.
It's going to be one of those. It's going to be a Stone Cold Bret Hart finish where one's just going to pass out in the middle of the ring.
You know, we've been waiting for that sort of finish for the longest time where it actually makes sense for a wrestler to do that willingly on their own merit. This honestly might be
I think that's the only way Serena Deeb's going to be able to put Mercedes Martinez down is to officially just knock her out. So it's going to be a very physical but very, very technical match. I can't wait for it.
At this point, just give me Serena Deeb versus Deonna Purrazzo if Deeb wins. That's what I want. All right. Well, good stuff. Well, we talked about greatness in professional wrestling. We talk about legacy. We talk about drive. I'm going to add one more word to it, and that is passion. Because what we saw on Wednesday Night Dynamite from one particular man truly showed me how much passion he has for this match, for this sport, and for what he's fighting for this time. Not defending a title, but claiming a legacy. This literally might be not only match of the night, but match of the year. Round 2. FTR defends the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships against, truly, them boys, the Briscoes. And it is now 2 out of 3 falls. I'm just going to say this real quick. When it comes to FTR and defining a tag team feud, 2 out of 3 falls to define 2 of the most pinnacle feuds, in my opinion, under our NXT. And that was against American Alpha and DIY. But this match right here, both of those 2 are going to look like child's play compared to the fight we're going to see unleashed among these 4 Saturday nights. I see James is all giddy, so I'm saving him for last. Chris, you are first.
I just wanted to say this before we even start our predictions. A toast to them boys getting an AEW and Ring of Honor full-time deal. Let's toast it right now.
Hey!
Goddamn right. Damn right.
Them boys going to remind you, we still in this thing for the long haul. That's why we wrestle everywhere. We love this sport. Anyway, I digress. Chris,
probably the best promo man on the planet too.
Oh,
I can watch Jay scream and Mark eat behind him for like hours on it.
and then Mark's got the weird wide eyes and like, you know, you're talking about 10 p.m.
Oh, I got a story. I have a story after my prediction.
He's pretty much like the Flavor Flav to like Jay's Chuck D. Like he's pretty much the hype man standing behind him. Like every now and then, Jay will lose his focus on occasion, but then Mark will bring it back and say something like, "So we're gonna beat in Connecticut. Yeah, we're gonna beat in Connecticut.
Gonna beat your brains in, boys. You know what this is about? About the titles. You're talking about the Briscoes. All right. That being said, we're having too much fun. The match hasn't even been talked about yet. Chris, you look focused. You look like you're studying this. You're probably going, what the hell are they still talking about? We're talking about tag team professional wrestling, damn it, to another level where if the Usos were involved in Ring of Honor, you would think the Usos versus the Briscoes would be something you've never seen before. But that being said, this is Ring of Honor. This is FTR. 7-star FTR versus them boys, round 2, 12-time Ring of Honor tag team champions. The first time it was a fight. This time it is for legacy, not the titles. And every time the Briscoes lose, they come back with a whole new, different, meaner attitude. So, Chris, who defines their legacy in tag team wrestling Saturday night and claim the Ring of Honor tag team championships?
Well, this is going to be this is actually going to be an amazing match between the Briscoes and FTR. On the forum, Noah, do you have like where you have like we could predict who gets the first fall, the second fall, and the last fall? Do you have that in the forum or no?
I never considered that, but considering how many different ways these two are going to beat the living daylights out of each other, that might be something I might consider.
Let me chime in real quick. I think that'd be better off for like a 3 stages of hell type match where you have like a submission match, a hardcore match,
it's like 3 actual different matches versus 1 standalone match. I think to my knowledge, I've never done like who took each fall. So I think I'm just gonna leave it as
that's a bit much.
Because you're really testing your brain. You're trying to literally play the match out yourself. Are you crazy?
That's too much thinking. I can't do that. Too much thinking.
My brain's like hell no.
Hell no!
That's totally my black half up here right now. It's like no.
Look, I might have a fedora, I might have a cowboy hat, but even my brain can't handle that.
Nappy roots is in my head right now. Like, oh no, hell no.
Oh man, fuck man. I hate algebra.
Here it goes. All right, we're going off the weeds, Chris. No, it will be a standalone single pick. So who do you got?
Hey, this show went off the well, just like Jerry Slaughter. He went off the well when he chose Sami Zayn to win the money.
Hey, James is in the chat and agreed with me.
You know why? Because here's why I agree with it. Here's exactly why I agreed with that, Chris. Because it was creative, which WWE hasn't been in like years. That's why I agreed. Hot take. Yeah.
Okay, my pick for this amazing tag team match. I'm actually gonna say I'm going for FTR. I love FTR so much. They're my favorite tag team in AEW right now. I love FTR. And I am going to say this on Sunday, September 4th during Labor Day weekend. I'm looking for FTR to finally win the AEW War Tag Team Champions and take the champions off of Swerve and Glory at All Out, and we could finally have all the gold on FTR.
Yeah, I agree. Although it could be interesting because
considering the swerve to the tag team division that we saw literally last week.
Let me run an idea by you real quick because my wheels are turning, right?
Well, it makes sense because Jerry's next and he always has wheels turning. Go ahead, James.
That's
run
fair.
the idea real quick.
I mentioned this but I've never mentioned it on a No DQ broadcast, so I'm going to mention it here.
Go for it.
What if the Young Bucks were to go right into Impact, win the tag team titles there, finally achieve what they never could when they were in TNA the first
Generation
time.
Me.
And then from there also go, hear me out, to the NWA, win their tag team titles.
All right, now you're going crazy.
And then come back as double champion. Now, meanwhile, you also could have the Briscoes win if you want to include them in this whole feud, right? And Swerve and Our Glory is your AEW tag team champions. What if at All Out you get a 4-way freaking crazy ass tag match with all of the gold on the line?
Dude, that's 8 set tag team championships. You are beyond insane.
Oh, I know. But it would be, do not tell me that would not be a cool freaking concept. Plus, think of it like this, too. You got a lot of stories you could tell with those 4 teams as well. So, I mean, it could be a damn thing, man. Yeah. Dude, here's why it's so genius, right? This is me pulling a Jerry here. What is the one thing NWA fans, mainly because of one Mr. JC, hates about the Young Bucks, right? They're flippy guys, right?
Yes.
What better heat than for them to go into NWA, win the tag team titles, and just defend them and win, cheat to win. Kenny Omega comes back in the NWA and is able to help them win the tag team titles, right?
I can see Omega just showing up dressed like Ric Flair circa 1982.
Exactly, dude. The heat this would get would be astronomical. Astronomical.
That is how you work the business.
That's what I'm saying. You want to work the business? This is how you do it. Just do this.
A ridiculous amount of Rolexes on his wrist.
That's why there's my idea. There's my booking idea for the day. Rant done. I just wanted to throw that out there. Throw that out in the ether.
One of these days, Jerry and James are going to have a panel by themselves and recreate an entire wrestling industry. And we are not going to believe we hear.
It would just be like 3 hours of us fantasy booking, like a 1 hour per show.
Yeah, dude.
That's a podcast waiting to happen right there. That's all I got to say about that.
You and I need to get on a Journey of Wrestling Let's Play ASAP. That's what
all right, let's bring it back down to Ring of Honor, though, and focus on just these 2 teams and this particular set of titles at hand, where Dax Harwood said he's going to fight like an 8-year-old girl. That being said, Jerry, what's going to happen here with round 2? Who leads with the gold? And the legacy, too.
I see the Briscoes taking the belts off FTR, and pretty much it's going to be one of those situations, kind of like how Davey Boy Smith pretty much was like, dedicating his match against Shawn Michaels to his wife and his family and everything, only for him to lose in front of like the Birmingham crowd. Like, just it was a lot of tomfoolery and everything, but Briscoes have been in a lot of round robin matches. They have been in a lot of these 2 out of 3 fall matches, and I haven't seen FTR in a lot of them. They've been in a lot of great matches, but I don't think they've been in a lot of great matches in a row, like on one show. The Briscoes can go. They can go on for hours upon hours. I'm pretty sure they probably don't do meth, but probably somewhere in Western Virginia, it probably just gets soaked into their system to the point where they just can go. And if they're going to be kept off of like TNT television or TBS television, because I know the Briscoes, they don't want the Briscoes on TV. That's the only reason why Tony Khan couldn't bring them on. But if they're going to be on HBO Max, they can get away with a lot more on HBO Max, and getting the Ring of Honor belts onto them, and then letting them be like the faces of the tag team division for that company. That makes all the sense to me at this point. FTR, yeah, they're gonna have all the belt, they're gonna have all the rest of the belts, and they can easily go after the AEW championship, and they'll still have like three titles like they're carrying around.
Right.
But the Ring of Honor belts belong on a Ring of Honor stalwarts, and I believe the Briscoes are going to pick up the win.
Again, it's a very sound. Like I said, I said it once, to say it again. Every one of these matches could go either way, and with them boys getting that contract now, it does make sense for them to be the standard bearers of Ring of Honor's tag team division.
For me, I had to peel away from the technical side of the match and look more at the promotional side by Tony Khan. Because if he's got to appease like the brass at TNT and TBS, the Briscoes are very volatile. They drop F-bombs like it's nobody's business.
Yeah.
And they can get away with, like I said, they can get away with that on HBO Max. Too many of it, especially with the MJF incident that happened this last time. They're going to be veering away from any kind of cussing that isn't the word shit. So I think they're going to. I think they're gonna have the Briscoes move to HBO Max more or less. So, yeah, I would see the Briscoes taking the Ring of Honor titles with them.
I agree.
Again, this one doesn't go either way. You thought about the whole draped in gold, the entire thing. FTR, they're not about that here. They're about defining legacy. The Briscoes, they redefine themselves when it comes to every loss, come back even meaner, more violent, more on point with each other than ever. And also, if you think about what happened at Supercard of Honor, who assaulted the Briscoes after that match. Young Bucks. Who's to say the Young Bucks don't take on them boys at some point in a traditional tag team match to try and get the Ring of Honor tag team championships off them when they fell short against FTR when both the ROH and AAA titles were on the line on Dynamite. So there is many ways that this can go. So for me right now, and the fact you did tell me, James, that they do have the contract, everything now does make sense for the Briscoes to win. But for me, when I look at tag team wrestling in general, this year, FTR's on another level. Yes, them boys have been everywhere. Them boys are defined by Ring of Honor, but FTR's define themselves every damn where. Right now, there's no stopping them. There's no slowdown. I don't see anything right now that can overcome them at this point. So I think FTR is somehow, and again, we know how mean these two can be, despite the fact they are loved beyond belief now by absolutely everybody. Don't think you won't get shades of Bastard Revival during this fight, because that's what this is going to be. This is going to be a fight.
Yeah, you damn right.
So I think that FTR are still going to come out the champions. Top guys still, Ring of Honor champs. But again, I think the last comment might be a little bit stretched. But when it comes to professional wrestling, put by Tony Khan, we know how long a show can go. Where the quality is met, but maybe it's a little long for people's attention span. But this is Ring of Honor. It's a different animal. He also says he's trying to make this feel different versus the ECW type one night stand vibe he wanted to put forward with Supercard. Now he's kind of laid a foundation while still holding true to Ring of Honor's values. He wants to make this truly feel more Ring of Honor-esque. So we'll see how long it goes, but for now, I say FTR holds on to the gold. Yeah. Okay. Well, with that being said, we talked a lot. We don't know what else will be announced ahead of this.
Well, what about Chris? Did Chris make his prediction?
I went with FTR.
Yeah,
okay, so...
And we got Briscoes, we got FTR, and
Did I get my
James...
official prediction?
What?
Did I get my official prediction?
No, you basically gave key points. So you're on point, my friend. What's your thoughts?
So as while I gave the idea,
right,
I keep going back and forth on it. I wouldn't be bad about this either way, obviously. That seems to be the theme of the damn night here. For me, I have to go with FTR, even though I want the Briscoes to win again. I wouldn't be mad either way. But I'm going to go with the FTR because I feel like they just won the belts in May. It's a bit too early for them to lose the belts, especially when you consider they just won them. So, that's just kind of how I'm seeing it. Maybe we'll see what happens, but
the Bucks just lost their belts their first defense.
And again, the Bucks got involved afterwards as Super Card of Honor. So again, maybe the Bucks have Ring of Honor gold on their minds too.
Yeah, maybe.
But all
I don't
right, you say FTR though as far as holding out with the gold. Again,
Yes.
2 out of 3 falls. Hook by crook, steal it, drive it, beat the living daylights out of them.
If a pudding cup or something shows up in the third match, then yeah, definitely Briscoes.
Yeah, what does Mark Briscoe eat in the post-match promos? What Jerry's trying to figure out right now. As I drink a Propel. All right, well, again, tag team wrestling at its finest. This is definitely, I feel like, contender for match of the year. I can't wait to see how this all comes ahead.
I agree.
It's gonna be 8-star FTR, but at the same time, they're gonna lose the belt to the Briscoes.
We'll see, Jerry. We'll see.
Yeah.
We talked about maybe one title change happening. We were all unanimous with the women's one because when it comes to Rita Deeb, a professor of professional wrestling, it feels like it's her time to define the Women of Honor legacy. That being said, let's go ahead and see who defines the legacy of Ring of Honor to call himself the best pure technical grappler wrestler in the world, as the Ring of Honor World Championship is on the line, with Jonathan Gresham defending against a guy that has never held this title, came so close at one point, has been in the ring with the likes of Nigel McGuinness, and we all know how adaptive Claudio is as well. Claudio Castagnoli. I don't even know where to begin when I think about how in the hell is this going to top Jonathan Gresham versus Bandito, and I know it will. Let's go ahead and think about this, shall we? What did Claudio say during the countdown? He had to move on to become the professional wrestler he wanted to be, to raise his game, to be where he wants to be, and keep going from there. He obviously hit a ceiling and never was able to get past it in the other company. That being said, Jonathan Gresham, he has held this title now for 8 months, and he truly defines Ring of Honor and the sport of professional wrestling. He's the short guy that you underestimate, that you think shouldn't be in this spot, should hold this title, and he always has that chip on his shoulder for that. But he is truly one of the most purely sound technical wrestlers on the planet. Yeah. And now he faces Claudio Castagnoli, who just overcame one of the most technical wrestlers on the planet, too, in Zack Jr. at Forbidden Door. Now, we talked about this philosophy. Is the Blackpool Comic Con's philosophy, as Yuta kind of alluded to during the sit-down with Caprice Coleman and Daniel Garcia, necessarily Blackpool Comic Club's MO is not necessarily get all the gold, but if that comes along the way to prove that we are the best in leading professional wrestling, then yeah, that's just a matter of circumstance. So what it comes down to is this. For Ring of Honor's future, going forward, does Claudio Castagnoli finally capitalize on this opportunity and become the Ring of Honor World Champion? Or Jonathan Gresham, who just joined Totally Better Enterprises, does he continue, by any means necessary it seems now too, being Ring of Honor's foundation? Gary, I'm starting with you.
All right. So quick note here. Our buddy Gary that runs the AEW RE Elite page, he just dropped this saying AEW has reportedly shown interest in signing commentator Mauro Ranallo.
Calm down, James. Not official. Calm down. And also,
please,
they have not gone to Canada. Okay, I'm just saying. But thank you for that, Jerry, because before I show pure excitement, seeing is believing. But if I could hear, I say, if I could hear "Mamma Mia" again in professional wrestling, that'll be the happiest moment of my life.
If they have the 3-man team of Mauro Ranallo, Kevin Kelly, and Caprice Coleman as commentators for Ring of Honor television, that is a thing of beauty right there. That is a great. That is.
I can see Ian Riccaboni doing well with them too, though.
Ian and Caprice Coleman, they are the Ring of Honor commentary team, and
it's all according who, like, where the TV deal goes, because if the TV deal goes to HBO Max, they'll probably want to have
right.
They would have.
It sounds logical in my opinion.
Yeah, it'd have to be Mauro. Mauro is like the voice that people would want to hear.
Yeah.
But all right, pretty much I'm going to go with my basic pick here on this one. Claudio Castagnoli is going to win, and like the night's going to end with the Blackpool Combat Club with all the belts, and like William Regal just looking on approvingly. It'd be really weird if we see Brian Danielson show up on the ramp at the end and just kind of look at the group, almost like an outsider looking in. Because you see all these promo pictures of the Blackpool Combat Club now, and he's not in them. Great, he's got injuries and everything, but at the same time, you would think he would have some sort of involvement with the group at this point. But he's almost becoming an afterthought, especially since Claudio has joined the group. So if this leads to
a fair point.
So if this leads to some sort of dissension between Claudio, and we get Claudio Castagnoli versus like Brian Danielson after he's healed up again,
God.
I'm okay with this. I'm not sure how much steam Blackpool Combat Club actually has left. They're a great group, but at the same time, it seems like one of those things where eventually they'll just kind of gradually graduate from the group, almost like a William Regal school of training, and then like they go off and do their own thing.
Well, remember what Brian Danielson wanted to do. He wanted to do this. He wanted John Moxley to work alongside him to push forward young, hungry professional wrestlers. And Willie right now is a prime example.
Not necessarily keep them under him, but like prepare them to be like the next, the next step in professional wrestling, which is great. That's what like these mentors and mentees should be doing.
Exactly.
But I see Claudio Castagnoli winning the title, so that's my pick for that one. And maybe we'll discuss more about it afterwards. But I want to get everybody else's idea too.
I mean, again, we could talk about this particular match all night.
Pretty much.
We all believe that this man should have been a effing world champion in the other place.
He should have at least like went to NXT UK, won the belt there, or at least faced off against Walter.
Yeah.
Like that's one of the biggest missed opportunities in probably WWE / NXT ever. It was like that match never happening.
Just add it to the list. I'm sure it's longer than the list of Jericho from WCW, but I completely agree.
Yeah.
Chris, your thoughts about this match? Does Claudio Castagnoli finally claim the Ring of Honor World Championship and raise the bar on professional wrestling?
Well, this is going to be a great match between Jonathan Gresham and Claudio Castagnoli. I was so happy to finally see Claudio back in professional wrestling. I have missed Claudio so much. When he left that other place, I got the news on my phone that he was leaving the other place. I was like, you got to be kidding me. WWE did him wrong. WWE did everything wrong with the guy. And
they pigeonholed him. They didn't let him reach the potential that he wanted to reach. He knew he couldn't go any further because the system wouldn't let him.
And
he made everything he could work in there, even the bar with Sheamus. So
and that was the highest bar that he reached.
Mm-hmm. And personally, he should have been world champion back in 2014 at Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
When Brian Danielson, they stripped him of the world championship because of injury. If that didn't happen, we would never had a WWE World Championship Money in the Bank ladder match in 2014. It would have been maybe Brian Danielson winning that match, and we will get SummerSlam, Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam that year.
That whole year was just thrown out of whack.
It was. But Claudio, he should have been world champion in 2014. He was at the prime of his career. He was on top. He won the Andre the Giant Battle Royal. And now, back in that year, he was almost at the top. He was with Paul Heyman at the time.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's perplexing in its own right, the fact that he didn't wear more gold under Paul.
Yeah, and he should have. It single-handedly killed the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal as well.
What's funny about that? Claudio was the inaugural winner.
Exactly. That's what
makes it
disrespectful. Yeah.
He had opportunities after year after year after year, and WWE didn't do nothing. He didn't do nothing. He should have been world champion. And I'm getting fired up because I'm passionate about Claudio.
I think we all are.
I support the guy no matter what. And this is why
I
this
met the man
Saturday
at SummerSlam, all right? Just saying. Continue.
with SummerSlam. With
2019.
Okay.
2019, it was Access.
And
Claudio
personally,
is one of the most likable, respectable names in the game.
Yeah.
and that's why this Saturday, Claudio Castagnoli will finally be a world champion, and we can all celebrate the culmination of Claudio Castagnoli winning a championship, finally being a world champion. I got Claudio winning Saturday night.
James, the thing about Jonathan Gresham and the fact he has held this title for 8 months, they added a new wrinkle to the dynamic of this match. We know how driven, how proficient, how technical, how adaptive both of these professional wrestlers, damn it, are. And how bad they want to prove they are the absolute best. The Ring of Honor World Championship puts you on that pedestal. You have this title. You are the best professional wrestler going today in professional wrestling. That is the standard of Ring of Honor. But Jonathan Gresham now has adapted a bit of a heelish tactic to his scientific technical wrestling, being a part of Legend Enterprises. For me, that adds a wrinkle that now you look at Jonathan Gresham and will he break his own code of honor to hold on to this title? Is there a sense of any doubt or any desperation with Jonathan Gresham and this opponent? He did talk about how Claudio Castagnoli could not get it done first time around, but it was against Jonathan Gresham. Claudio, again, this is his second time now going for it. Does history repeat itself?
Well, for me, I don't think it. I don't think it will. I think he's gonna try to, and he's eventually gonna do the right thing. There's a reason I say this.
Go for it.
There's a lot of factors that I don't think people are factoring in. Number one, if you watched AEW Dark, there was a match between Leon Ruff. I believe his full name is Leon Ruffin. We always shorten it to Leon Ruff.
Yeah.
Leon Ruff versus Lee Moriarty. Lee Moriarty in this match acted more heelish, right?
Yes.
You add that to the fact that, yes, he betrayed Lee Moriarty, and, but his reasons are justified, in kayfabe anyway, where he was not booked on AEW for months, right?
Yep.
He did say he was sitting at home until he got the call from Tully and his vision for Ring of Honor. Continue.
Now, Stokely Hathaway, who represents the baddies, comes in and he's trying to recruit Lee Moriarty.
Yes.
And Matt Sydal basically said, no, and he couldn't even speak for himself, and he looked a bit, okay, bud. All right. Like, he's trying to keep him and hog all the glory of Lee Moriarty's success for himself, as opposed to him doing his own thing, doing it his way. And I think he wanted to join a group that isn't just tied to Matt Sydal. I think that's going to play into this match huge. I think Jonathan Gresham is not going to cheat. He's gonna be hesitant. He's gonna try to cheat, but he's gonna go against it and try to do it with honor. And then Claudio, that moment hesitation, is gonna have Claudio hit him with the Swiss Death Uppercut, neutralizer, done. 1, 2, 3. He's got the champion. He's gonna win it.
You don't even think it's gonna be a recall at powerbomb. You forget it's just gonna be a neutralizer that does it in the end.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I forgot.
I think he would actually go old school with the powerbomb.
Cola.
Yeah, I love that powerbomb.
It would be a pretty big suck you to like WWE if you used a neutralizer to win it, though.
That would be pretty good. Yeah.
Well, let's look at Claudio's matches when they open up. Against Zack Sabre Jr., against Jake Hager. What does he do as soon as the bell rings? Ding, running uppercut, and immediately goes for the neutralizer. With Jonathan Gresham, though, will he use that same approach? Because Jonathan Gresham said it politically. Claudio has everything possible to be the Ring of Honor World Champion, but not against me. To beat me, you got to out-grapple, you got to out-wrestle me. These two are going to test each other's wrestling capabilities, and that is a whole different chess game in itself.
It's gonna be the story of the night for sure. Because either again, I wouldn't be mad about it either way, but I would rather Claudio finally get his moment under the sun. And keep in mind, I know a lot of people are like, well, he hasn't defended the title nearly on TV. Well, keep this in mind. He has defended it practically everywhere he's gone since he won the title back in December when we didn't even know if there would be a Ring of Honor. So he's been all over the place. He's been on Impact defending it. He's been on Progress defending it. He was on a couple other places defending it. Yeah, Terminus. He was everywhere. He was everywhere defending this. He was defending it on Dark, AEW. He was on Dynamite. He was on Impact. There is not one place he hadn't been, right, defending this belt.
Exactly.
He has had his time with this title. I think it's time to give Claudio his moment.
Jonathan Gresham will always be the foundation, but under a new regime will some new foundation be established. I believe under Claudio Castagnoli. Again, you guys summed it up pretty much all for me. All I had to do was basically give some hierarchy towards the history, the terminology, and the prestige that comes with this title, and the drive of both men to be the Ring of Honor World Champion. You saw how long it took Jonathan Gresham to get here, building a standard in the Ring of Honor Pure division. Now he's raised the game of the Ring of Honor World Championship, even through Pure Rules per se. But this is not going to be a Pure Rules contest. This is going to be a professional wrestling clinic. And I feel that Claudio Castagnoli will find some way, some moment to out-wrestle Jonathan Gresham and catch him for the win. I definitely have also a new champion.
Exhibition-wise, I would love to see Tully Blanchard Enterprise versus the Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah.
I think like, you know, versatility-wise in that match, that'd be very, very cool.
It makes me wonder with Jonathan Gresham agreeing with Tully Blanchard and, you know, his vision. You think about like Chavo and Bandito that were together at the Supercard of Honor. What happened when Chavo got involved? Bandito said, no, don't do this. So, again, will Gresham, like you said, find a moment where he believes that I have to do this for honor? And maybe Tully Blanchard gets evacuated to the back for Jonathan Gresham's wishes, because we all know that Tully Blanchard can hold one hell of a grudge. And I really wonder how much involvement Tully Blanchard or his enterprises could be. Will we see Brian Cage, Toa Leola, or Khan at all, besides on the entranceway? How much do you wager your honor to be the Ring of Honor World Champion? Again, what's the name of this preview? Death Before Dishonor. Will we see that solidified and personified here with Jonathan Gresham in this match? Call himself the foundation for a reason. Just saying. Regardless, you said perfectly, I think, James. While we talk about that FTR on the Briscoes is going to be probably match of the night, this is very well the story of the night. And it's also going to be the story that defines Ring of Honor's reboot going forward.
Yeah.
All we're missing from this card at this point is not more matches, because I don't think there needs to be no more matches. What is Ring of Honor's streaming deal on air or through the internet? Because
you need that announcement.
You need that announcement at this point. You can't hold out. I don't think you can hold out anymore. You need it.
Yeah, without question. HBO Max would be the best bet. I could also see them decide, you know what, screw it even more. We'll allow them to say the F word. We'll just censor it out on True TV. Keep in mind, True TV does not care too much. They just bleep it out. So,
well,
there is that possibility.
I was about to say, if it's a tape program, they can do a whole bunch with a tape program.
That's what I'm saying. That's probably how they'll handle it.
Mm-hmm. Wouldn't surprise me at all. Chris, do you have any further thoughts regarding this?
I have two questions here. When they do announce the ROH streaming thing, my first question is, what day can you guys see ROH being on?
That's a good question.
Yeah, because they're honestly, you look at the week, every evening is kind of covered.
It'll probably be on Thursday.
Yeah, I have to say Thursday.
They'll basically shoot Impact in the foot, but you know what? No, not a lot of people get access to Impact. So
it depends on what time they do it, though.
If they do 7 to 9, I don't think it's that bad per se. Especially when you figure about that the Insider thing on YouTube starts at 8:30, so you only would really be lapsing 30 minutes. As again, it is no commercials. As an Ultimate Insider on YouTube, you watch Impact Wrestling every week. But at this point, I think about what they did on YouTube just for 1 hour, even right before Raw. If they do the 7 to 8 on Monday night, it comes down to me, Chris. Is it going to be 2-hour product or 1-hour product. Because again, keep in mind, whatever they choose, that is more television they have to produce. And yes, they got the mind of Cabana helping out and maybe Maria Kanellis, but at the end of the day, it's still Tony Khan at the forefront.
Yeah.
And then my second question, if whenever they do announce this streaming service for ROH, I'm wondering, would they be able to stream their pay-per-views on that streaming service and just say, hey, Bleacher Report, we're not going to have ROH. The ROH will have TV show, their weekly shows, and your pay-per-views right on whatever streaming service ROH is going to be on. I think that would be a good idea, though.
It depends on if they decide to do a television deal with True TV or if they decide to go full on with HBO.
Right.
Because if they do it on HBO, I would imagine they're going to try to put it on HBO Max. If they do it on True TV, then I assume they'd stick with BR Live. Either way, they own the damn thing. Warner Discovery owns all these properties, so
keep it in the family as far as I'm concerned. If you could use both, that's more marketing. That's more potential pay-per-view buys. The more platforms that you can advertise, the better your product will reach out.
I say do both only because, like Noah said, you could do it with AEW pay-per-views as well going forward, which would mean gangbuster business for AEW and Ring of Honor as a whole. So if I'm thinking like from a practical sense, you put your maybe both on HBO Max and BR Live when it comes to here in the States. Fight TV internationally like they have been doing and whatever they have on TSN and all the other TV deals that they have. I know for a fact as well, worldwide's going to be a thing too, because keep in mind, one of their biggest revenue streams is the fact that they actually got a deal with Sky Sports in Italy, Sky Italia. And that's that is making bank. If you're on Sky Sports, you're making some money there.
And of course, they're also in Canada on TSN, so that also further helps that out too.
Yeah.
So again, whatever avenues you could bring in revenue, I say go for it. The more you can, the better off you are, because the more marketing you can do with your product, the more outreach you can get, even to somebody that might not even know the product. Okay, they see it like, oh, that sounds interesting. Click.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's really what happens a lot with the WWE. At this point, the fan base has fallen out, but it's so convenient, people probably just click and then watch it on mute or just hear noise.
I think the greatest thing they can do right now, especially if they have like a program, is actually have it be 1 hour.
Yeah.
And because then they could honestly do what NXT did for the longest time, which is pretty much film 3 shows and then span over that 3 weeks. You never really see the same people, but you see the build-ups in between of each of those. Exactly. That's what really got me hooked onto NXT when I was doing that, doing a podcast covering it. Was the fact that I get an hour-long show, I get these fantastic matches, great matchmaking, on all the programs. But then I'd also get setups for that next week, or 2 weeks from now, and it still had me pumped.
Exactly.
And even then, I'm sitting there realistically knowing they already shot all 3 of these episodes.
Yeah. It's a balance of variety versus the same level of repetition. And for those that are actually watching on Facebook, please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. We love to hear your thoughts, your comments, any questions you have regarding this pay-per-view, Ring of Honor, and the marketing approach they may need to want to try and pursue too with a TV or streaming deal, or what you think the future of Ring of Honor might be. Let us hear you. Give us some thoughts. Let us hear your comments. Let them give you your opinions matter too. But again, like I said, there's a reason why I still watch the Black and Red to a degree. It's 1 hour. It focuses primarily on professional wrestling. It stands out among the rest of the nonsense in that company. And it doesn't feel the same every week for me either. When you add more variety, when you try and bring more of your roster forward, and you still push the narratives that are mainly structured by the end game, keyword quarterly pay-per-views, then I think you have a pretty good structured product. AEW still has flaws, but at least I'm not looking at the same damn thing every week.
Yeah.
But again, there's so much wrestling right now, you got to consider how much can an audience handle. I do think 1 hour is better structured. Heck, it could be 45 minutes for me personally if it does the same thing like Elevation, if they choose to do some sort of streaming thing. Oh, shoot, that's right. They can't do Monday Night 7. That's Elevation. You see what I mean?
Yeah, there's so much. There's so much.
There's
going
too
on
much
with
wrestling
that,
product out right now. It's
Yeah.
insane.
And AEW owns a majority of it, if you really think about it as well. Like
4 days a week.
Yeah.
Maybe get rid of Elevation.
I don't
mean, at
know.
this point.
I mean, it's one of those things where I look at Elevation and Dark. There is definitely some subtle similarities, but I feel like Elevation gives me at least a couple of matches that do stand out among the rest, both those nights combined.
Yeah, but
we've
you
actually
could do
seen
it.
titles defend on that too.
The only issue, though, is you could do that on Dark. You don't really need Elevation. You don't.
Pretty much like all the people you see on AEW Dark Elevation are the people you'd be seeing on AEW Dark anyway.
Yeah,
I would see AEW Dark Elevation, if done properly, would be a bunch of people trying to move up to AEW Dark.
Right.
Versus people that are already on regular AEW television or AEW Dark.
But they're on both shows anyway. So
yeah,
Yeah,
it's kind of
but
a bit.
You're watching like pretty much three of the same shows, just with more enhancement talent than anything else on Dark Elevation.
It's
almost like
showcase.
it's almost like WWF superstars back in the '80s.
Yeah.
You'd have your main guys, but you have the local talent that would come in as and pretty much job out to them. That's pretty much what Dark Elevation feels like to me. But at the same time, it's not really doing anything because they don't really go much by a point system anymore. They had the win-loss record, yeah, but the win-loss record doesn't mean shit anymore. It really doesn't. Otherwise, Abaddon would be the AEW champion, like women's champion right now.
Yeah.
And Abaddon's the dark force that you barely see involved, but when she shows up, she's one of the biggest draws.
Keyword there on Dark Force is dark. That's where that's the only place you really ever see her.
Well, I mean, she does come out from the credits, just saying. But James, you were about to say something?
They need to get rid of the win-loss record off of Dark. They just discount Dark at this point because Dark makes zero sense.
I agree.
It's pretty much like killing hogs in Warcraft just to boost your XP. It really doesn't make you any more boss. It gives you more wins under your belt. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And
the
wins have to count to something.
The only one that made it worthwhile was Dynamica DMD on her way to facing Hikaru Shida.
Yeah, it's different if you're actually going to focus on somebody's win-loss record versus just flashing it on the screen. It's like, hey, this person won so many matches. You should care about them. You have to legit talk to me about their the matches that they've had so far.
Yeah.
How they're improving. How this win-loss record means so much, and how close they are to actually championship contention. If they had a certain amount of wins, like if you say you get 20 wins, you get challenged for a certain belt. That would be it. That'd be interesting.
I'll even throw you one better. You don't even have to get rid of the entire win-loss record off Dark, but you really two things you should do: get rid of Elevation and put the Ring of Honor TV time slot there. Probably. I
agree.
If you're doing a 2-hour broadcast from 6 to 8, if you're doing a 1-hour product, 7 to 8. Number two, for AEW stuff, like if you want to count the win-loss records on Dark, only do it when it's an AEW contracted talent fighting another AEW contracted talent. If they're fighting somebody from the indies, it really shouldn't mean jack and shit, right? It really shouldn't. Like a win doesn't matter, a loss doesn't matter.
Unless they popped up on a banner that says so-and-so is elite, their win-loss record should not matter at all.
And we've seen extreme rare cases where that actually mattered, only in the likes of Lee Moriarty and Sky Blue. Heck, I saw Lee Moriarty versus Dan Garcia live on AEW Dark Elevation in Cincinnati last year before Dynamite, and after that match, Tony Khan signed him.
Yeah, exactly.
I missed that. The last one thing we saw was Fuego del Sol getting his contract. I miss actually seeing these guys actually get handed their contract and get to sign it in the ring. That for me is what sets AEW kind of apart. Because it feels like these guys are actually working up towards something, whether it be a contract initially or a title shot. But even then, somebody can easily come in that's only got a 2-0 win-loss record that was in WWE or something prior, and they're going to automatically give him a title shot versus somebody that's got a 53-7 record And like it doesn't make any sense to me at all. It really doesn't.
We've been talking about since AEW's inauguration that the ranking system has been flawed, and when you have these like showcases where you have like interpromotional type of matches that define a talent that can challenge for a championship, rightfully so. If they beat a champion, I think that's a pretty cool like shift or swerve. But you also think about the win-loss record where it really does matter and what wins actually matter towards it versus every just simple win that you think kind of is obvious. It's one of those things where AEW's structure towards guiding the next championship encounter is still very messy and needs to be watered down or more defined. I will say this, though, using the titles in interpromotional type affairs and putting that on Dark, that does help it stand out more as, again, Maya Yashima beat Thunder Rosa, rightfully earned herself AEW Women's World Championship opportunity.
Right.
And again, it's going to be a mainstay on Dynamite. That's elevate. That's what elevation should be. When you elevate somebody to the point they will be on TV in a big match encounter or even towards a championship.
If I may, I do want to point out that we're complaining about the win-loss records, but this is typical with UFC also. I think a lot of people think about the same thing about UFC. I think the reason they just have the win-loss record, one, to make them look like they're an official thing, which, you know, in a sense did work, right? The other thing is it's just to kind of keep track of who's important and who's not important, who's getting over, who isn't, who's a fan. Like, all it is, the win-loss record is there to track who's getting the wins. Yeah, in the progress. Like, yes, you know, some people have more wins than others, but at the end of the day, wrestling, just like any form of sport, is genuinely a popularity contest.
It really
when it comes to anything combat sports related, that's what it comes down to. That's just how it is. You know,
it's the beauty of the beast. Chris, you've been quiet this whole time, man.
Because we've been talking over him.
Yeah,
well, I feel like each person here, like a 3-person booth, which sometimes is overkill in itself, each is giving valid points. But at this point, Chris, I think his head's just been working so far. He wasn't sure how to interject his own thoughts. And again, he's a fan just like us. He also has a perspective on sports, and AEW tries to be sports-centric. But how far do you stretch that moniker when it comes to your TV product and the showcasing of your talent? Chris, what's your thoughts regarding the win-loss record and how AEW handles TV product every week? Where should it lighten up?
Well, I'm just going to keep this short and sweet. Win, loss, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter who it is.
I'm just ending it with this. Just enjoy life and enjoy pro wrestling. Let's enjoy it.
But you also can have an opinion if you want the business to be more structured.
Yeah,
you want to see people go over. And that's what it means being a constructive wrestling fan and conversation versus some dickhead on Twitter that tries to start some toxic rant and believe that they are the gospel of knowing all things. Daggone virtual
120 characters is not enough to get your opinion out there. Okay, continue.
Neither is a screenshot from your daggone Apple phone and your sticky notes app where you try and friggin' post a column worth.
Yeah.
But I digress.
Ah!
But I digress. I say the bottom line is this. Wrestling is always going to have its moments. It's always going to have its presentation dictated, but it's always going to bring something to the forefront because wrestling can give you anything.
Yes.
And that's what this Ring of Honor pay-per-view is going to define, particularly. Professional freaking wrestling. Damn it! Yes. But I digress. With that being said, folks, we thank you for tuning in to this simple open forum and Ring of Honor, Depth Before Dishonor preview and discussions and predictions panel 2. We have a ton to look forward to, and per the madman himself, Tony Khan, he said more matches are going to be added, so as they are, I'll assure you, I'll be updating that forum too. But gentlemen, it's an absolute pleasure discussing this with you. Thank you all for being a part of this forum too. Before we conclude, let's go ahead around and plug and promote where people can further engage and find you. And Chris, I shall start with you, good sir. Where can people connect with you?
Well, it's been a pleasure being on here for my first Ring of Honor predictions
and
video.
More.
There's going to be many more. This was actually my third wrestling company that I was doing predictions for, And there's one more prediction video I would love to do to complete the big 4 in pro wrestling, and that is Impact Wrestling. I'm trying to complete it. So hopefully hopefully I get on to complete it.
Well, me and Jerry, we're always the simple and powerful duo. If Jerry feels free to add another mind and you're available, I have no problem making it a trio.
But it's been a pleasure. And James, if Noah, if you're okay with this, if I can add James to our Galaxy panel.
Yeah, sure, why not?
All right.
Yeah, I mean, he could engage with us when we're not predicting the WWE, or he could rant about the WWE and add some fun talking about his pussy.
Yes. Yeah, that's hilarious.
You broke me! You broke me during the NXT commentary thing. I was trying to be professional with JJ, and you freaking broke me. But then again, it was right before Wendy Chu, who we saw sleeping. So maybe you did. Maybe it was just an element. Anyway, Chris, continue.
It's been a pleasure being on here. Where you guys can find me as my Facebook, Christopher Rotz, my Insta, CMROTZ_6472, my Snapchat, C_Rotz17, my Twitter, 2 uppercase CR, lowercase OTZ 24. And I'm going to be on tomorrow with Justin to do Forever Boston Sports Trivia tomorrow at 5 Eastern. So
good luck, man.
Thank him so much. I'm a huge Boston Red Sox fan, so watch out for that tomorrow. And then the next time you'll be seeing me is tomorrow, and then I will be back here next Friday at 5 Eastern time. Where we will all be here predicting SummerSlam.
Well, most, not all. Just saying. But continue.
Well, I will have to be on because I am commentating with it, actually, probably.
Well, okay.
What time is that?
5 p.m.
The predictions panel is next week, Friday, 5 p.m. Standard Time.
Yeah, I'll probably be on that just to.
So
right,
I'll be on next Friday with SummerSlam, and then I'll reach out to Jeff Meacham if I'm be able to join the watch along, just the predictions portion
the
to
pre-show,
next Saturday.
basically the real pre-show where you don't have Sam Robert and 2 robots and Kayla Braxton, who tries everything she can to discuss the pay-per-view for 1 to 2 hours with no actual wrestling during the pre-show. But
if anybody knows about pre-shows, it's Noah Foster.
So
Gary!
Yeah. Wow.
Continue, Chris. Wrap it up.
So that's where you guys can find me. And then also next month we'll be back here again after SummerSlam next Friday. We'll be back here next month in the end of the month in August, where we're gonna have back-to-back. We're gonna be predicting Clash at the Castle and All Out. So just enjoy life, everybody. Just enjoy pro wrestling, and let's all just be great human beings out there, and just enjoy life, everybody.
Respect, man. I appreciate your humble humility towards all things wrestling. All righty. James, this is the first time you've been on one of these panels. You've brought a lot to the forum, and I look forward to doing more of these with you. I try and keep them pretty consistent between Thursdays and Fridays, usually Fridays, 5 p.m. Standard Time, in anything wrestling. But, hey, definitely look forward to having you back on this platform here, too. So is there anything you want to plan to promote? Where can people find you? I know you're always busy, including tomorrow night, where I know I will be with you.
I didn't even plan on coming on today, and then I forgot. Oh wait, it's predictions panel with Noah today, isn't it? So I was like, I gotta rush on. So yeah,
I try and keep y'all up to date in that chat. That's the only place I'm at.
So yeah, along with Noah and everything going on with his channel, I figured I'd just let everybody know that I run as Noah said at the top when I came on, I run a conglomerate called For the Win Productions, along which includes Jay Hebert Studios, Simple Man Studios, Wrestling Fortune 44 Incorporated, and Insanity Works. You can check all that out right now on youtube.com. I basically have a channel trailer on my YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/user/JHEBERTSIDE95. All of the modules, all of our channels are linked down there. FTW Productions as a whole, Friends of FTW Productions, and beyond. So check that out. Check out all our content, including Noah's stuff. That's all there on my channel. And you will, the big thing I'm going to promote that we just kind of did is AEW Fighter Fest live watch along reactions, which Noah was on there for. And I did Stable Wars, which is a video game ding that we did on Insanity Works Studios. Basically what that is we let the AI compete with each other and we make stables out of the AI. Basically, we choose characters out of 5 and make a stable out of them. It was, and pardon me in advance because these were the names of the stables that my boys picked, the Ass Clappers versus the Solid Heroes versus the Super Combo Club, which is Bullet Club inspired reference, too sweet, and versus Team Fuck Shit. The game that we played this on is called Project MEX Remix, Super Smash Brothers game, which is modded. It's a really, really, really good. So if you guys haven't checked it out, full of laughs, full of good times. We're planning on doing another one this upcoming Monday, so stay tuned on that channel for that. And also stay tuned to my channel on Friday where Noah, myself, and a host of other people will be hosting FTW Productions Watch Party, where we will be watching and live reacting to AEW Fighter Fest Rampage Night 2, the final Fighter Fest of the entire week. And then there's Fight for the Fallen. Holy shit. Probably going to have to do that one too. So,
well,
yeah.
like I said, James, you're always busy, but I really sometimes worry about your mentality, brother. Get some rest, and next time I'll upload your trailer. The trailer, but I digress. That being said, Gary, again, man, there's a lot more insanity here tonight, but a lot more great discussion too. I always look forward to doing these type of things with you, whether it's wrestling, pay-per-view wise, or just general wrestling too. And if you want to plug promote, and where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at Gerald_JSJ, or you can find me on my Facebook group, Armbar, all capital, ARMBAR, exclamation
point.
Don't forget it! Damn it!
I still sadly have the shirt. I'm rocking it today. I'm pretty sure you still find it on NoDQ.com over at their spring page. I still theoretically work for them, I think. I don't know. I'm still in their league. I'm pretty much at the bottom again, which, you know, that's just my place. My place is at the bottom of the league. Because, like James said, I'm a little bit too creative for professional wrestling.
Well, no, you're not too creative for professional wrestling. You're too creative for sports entertainment.
That's the key there.
Yeah, there you go.
That is true. I am doing better in Impact than AEW at this point, so hopefully ROH is a good turnaround for me as well. But this has been great. James, it's been a while since I've actually gotten to work with you, so it's always a pleasure. Noah, you're here. And Chris,
I'm just happy. Hey, let me talk to you.
He hosted the damn thing. What the hell, Jerry? Chris, he's here.
I'm just a simple man. I'm just happy to be here. All right.
Well, yeah. Oh, well, that's a great Big G impression. Thank you very much for that.
Shout out to the Big Baller. He needs to get on one of these forums.
Oh,
Big G, come join us one of these days. You have a lot of fun.
But in all seriousness, I watched Noah go from like a super awkward wrestling fan, like one of our first NXT broadcasts, to this, and this has been superb, man. You do a fantastic job, so thank you.
You're kind.
Without NXT party, we're none of us are where we're at today. So thank you for that opportunity, big time.
Everything starts somewhere. Again, I've been involved in this crazy thing known as an internet wrestling community since fall 2017. First discovering No DQ, which evolved into this, collaborating with all of you. So again, I'm always grateful for that day. engaging with someone named Caitlyn and learning what no DQ was at an NXT live show in Detroit. So with that being said, thank you all. Appreciate it. Folks, you want to know more about me, though? Know this. I am just a simple man and a lifelong fan of, what's that thing called?
Professional wrestling.
Professional wrestling!
Damn it!
But I digress. Buy the shirt on the Jeff Meacham Network. Find me on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, and in Foster1916 for all things wrestling. And as I put it out earlier, shout out, of course, to our ATW family on Twitter. We have our own podcast forum, too, called the ATW View Impromptu. It's now impromptu because it really is never scheduled. It's just out of nowhere. But usually it's ahead of an AEW Big Four pay-per-view or a lot to talk about in the wrestling news. So stay tuned for the next episode as we do it monthly. It will be some point in August. And again, this simple man, he's crazy himself, doesn't know when to rest when it comes to wrestling. Find me on the Daily Slam after James Hebert's watch party for AEW Rampage, immediately recording for YouTube's Steve Falls Daily Slam, an AEW Rampage recap and review, along with the King A-Train, of course, of ATW. And we'll also be doing a quick little simple Depth Before Dishonor preview and predictions panel during that, too. And again, folks, Depth Before Dishonor is this Saturday, only available on the Bleacher Report app, live on pay-per-view. And for international people, you get it on Fight, you lucky son of a guns. But also, you can find me on the Jeff Meacham Network this weekend, next weekend, and any weekend there's some sort of wrestling pay-per-view, it seems. Providing you play-by-play coverage and live commentary. I'll be with the Jeff Meacham Network this Saturday and with James. We will be calling Depth Before Dishonor. And next weekend, I will be with JJ for the first time for a Big Four in the WWE, and it's truly four at this point, for SummerSlam. And then there, of course, will be an open mic night following that. You thought this was unscripted? JJ is going to provide the topics, but he doesn't define the conversation. And, of course, following that, I also will be with a special watch-along commentating what truly is a supercar professional wrestling. How the hell you did this, Conrad Thompson? The Ric Flair's last match, Jim Crockett Promotions presented Wrestling Forum, also on the Jeff Meacham Network, too. So I'll be doing a lot of commentary coverage. I'll also be doing a simple predicting panel for the Nashville show for New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm forgetting the name. Apologies, folks. And as always, I like to conclude, because I really don't know sometimes when to sleep too, but there are no winners, no losers, no betters. They're just fans. Simple as that. Fans. All these other stupid terms that the internet defines. Bleh. Fans. With all opinions for this passion we all share. At the end of the day, folks, support one another and respect each other and just enjoy life and enjoy professional wrestling or sports entertainment should you choose. Damn it. It's as simple as that. With that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, comment, tell a friend. Hit the bell when this video goes live or on demand on this channel. Usually on this channel, I do everything live. It's easier that way. It's simple. Help me keep growing this community. Shouts out to 204 of you with this Women is Fun YouTuber creators journey since October 2017 as I approach my 5-year anniversary. Unbelievable. It's not going to let up anytime soon. And stay tuned for more coverage of the G1 Climax, courtesy of me and Casey Gallagher, as that's going forward too. And at least me and Jerry, possibly Chris, maybe James too, will be back to discuss the next event for the Impact Predictions League, Emergence, in August too. And that's everything coming up for this simple man and his simple studios in all things wrestling. And so much more too. For Christopher Rotz, for James Hebert, for the new normal, Jerry blank, 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 blank. Put in last name here. In this case, Jerry Dishonor. I am the Simba Noah Foster. Thank you all for tuning in once again to a wild, unscripted, fun, open platform, simply predicting and discussing professional wrestling too. As always, I'd like to conclude, because Impact Wrestling is literally on in 1 hour too, as well as the No DQ review. Go check that out and say yes to No DQ. Make a positive impact in life and have a good night. Gentlemen, great job. This was truly honorable.
Stupendous.
Dadgummit, Jerry! Stupid tagline from Back Creative! Just friggin' all right, that's it. We're done. Bye, folks.
That was freaking great.
Shut it, James!